These are the top 10 biggest abandoned cities in America that you should visit for an eerie vibe and a bone-chilling experience. The deserted roads and uninhabited houses are not the only intimidating aspects about these cities and towns. You need to take a deeper dive into the history of these places and how or why they were abandoned. So, if you want to spice up your next vacation and go off radar, add these to your bucket list. Number 10, Kennecott, Alaska. Highest recorded population, 494. A center of copper mining activities, Alaska has some amazing ghost towns, which will give you a taste of the mining era in the state. Kennecott is one such ghost town. By the 1930s, the town had started seeing a decline in population, owing to better prospects of mining in other places, and the exhaustion of the ores present in Kennecott. In the late 1980s, this place in Alaska had become a tourist destination, where people flocked to see the old and abandoned mining town. However, it never was repopulated again. If you love hiking, this is one place you should have on your list. But mind you, the hikes are lengthy and strenuous. However, the satisfaction you'll get after completion will be like none other. For amateur hikers, there are guided tours across the mines and town as well. Number 9, Virginia City, Montana. Highest recorded population, 675. Virginia City and Nevada City in Montana were also mining towns in the Rocky Mountains, with a rich history, literally a rich history of gold mines, estimating a total value of $100 million in the 1700s and 1800s. This city will surely fulfill your dreams to experience the Wild West. It has also been designed as a National Historic Landmark. Today, this well-preserved city has become a tourist attraction, where you can experience the history and legacy of Virginia and Nevada City. You can take a day trip to these ghost towns and explore the towns and its history. Number 8, Terlingua, Texas. Highest recorded population, 1,000. Abandoned by the end of the Second World War, Terlingua was once a bustling place with mercury mines. Around the time of World War I, the production of mercury was at its peak. Almost all residents of Terlingua were engaged in mining in some way or another. Today, it is a great tourist attraction that will take you back in time to the mining era. There are restaurants, a church, and a jail here that you can visit. Currently, it is not a completely isolated place, as the owners of these enterprises live here. There are about 200 residents in Terlingua presently. Make sure to watch the video right up to the end, as the backstories on some of these towns and cities are quite chilling. Number 7, Rugby, Arizona. Highest recorded population, 1,200. Founded as a mining town in Bear Valley, Rugby was originally known as Montana Camp. At its peak, this place was inhabited by 1,200 people, which mostly included miners and their families. Today, Rugby stands deserted near the foothills of Montana Peak. This place is where numerous fortunes were made as well as lost. After all, Rugby had once been the largest zinc and lead producing mine in the state of Arizona. There's been a double homicide in this place too. It has to live up to its name of the Wild West after all. This town, though, is one of the least creepiest ones on this list. That's probably because it's now become a privately owned town, where tourists visit to experience the mining history of Arizona and the Wild West. There are 2 beautiful lakes here, and the scenic views coupled with the biodiversity will leave you in awe. There's a museum in Rugby that will further furnish your thirst for knowledge about this town. This is a perfect place to visit if you're in for a little bit of adventure, but do not want to get completely spooked out. Number 6, St. Elmo, Colorado. Highest recorded population, 2,000. Located in Chaffee County, St. Elmo had gold and silver mines. At its peak, St. Elmo had restaurants, saloons, hotels, schools, and grocery stores. Like other mining towns, the number of days of prosperity at St. Elmo was numbered. Once the mines were depleted, the miners left this place, and today it's classified as a ghost town. You can take a day trip to this place and visit the ruins of St. Elmo, which have been preserved to this day. Number 5. Cahaba, Alabama. Highest recorded population, 2,000. A town which exuded wealth during the antebellum years is now an abandoned and ruined place. Cahaba was once Alabama's capital city, due to the location of this city being the junction where two rivers, the Alabama and the Cahaba, meet. This capital faced severe flooding in 1825. Eventually, the residents started abandoning this place one after another. It once had a population of almost 2,000 people, which declined gradually. Number 4. Centralia, Pennsylvania. A highest recorded population, 2,761. A mining town in Columbia County of Pennsylvania, this place has a burning coal mine beneath it. You heard it right, a burning coal mine. And what's worse is that it would probably take up to 250 years for all the coal to be burnt out completely. Before we talk about how much of a waste of resources and source of pollution Centralia is, let's take a look at this place. There's literally a board which forewarns the visitors of the dangers of this town. The population here saw a steep decline over the years, and the census of 2020 recorded a population of just 5 people living in Centralia. The carbon monoxide fumes being released into the atmosphere were so threatening that in 1992, the government imposed land acquisition or eminent domain on all the properties in the town. What started this fire is still a matter of debate, and there are different versions of this story. While one book suggests that the fire was started when attempts were made to clean the town's landfill, some others claim that it was because a trash hauler dumped coal into the open landfill. Or maybe the firefighters set the dump on fire for a while after they extinguished it. However, the fire had entered the abandoned mines underground through some openings in the pit. What's scary is that in 1981, a teenager fell into a sinkhole which formed in his backyard. His cousin helped him out, but it was later discovered that the levels of carbon monoxide in the pit were highly lethal. What do you think caused the fire? Do mention your answers in the comments below. Number 3. Rhyolite, Nevada. Highest recorded population, 5,000. Located near Death Valley National Park, Rhyolite is a ghost town, which is quite unique from other abandoned cities. Why? The answer lies in its construction. Usually, as you might have noticed, towns in the Wild West usually had buildings and houses constructed out of wood. This is because it was a known fact that sooner or later the towns would be abandoned once the mines were exhausted. However, Rhyolite has buildings made with permanent or long-lasting materials, so there are a lot of unusual buildings to see here. One of them is a caboose, which has been turned into a home. Another is a house made out of bottles. Essentially, the best time to see creativity and DIY skills of people during the gold rush. Rhyolite had over 4,000 residents once upon a time, and there were many saloons, swimming pools, and even a school for the families of the miners. Number 2. Bodie, California. The highest recorded population, 10,000, located in Bodie Hills. Bodie was a gold town in the 1800s. It was a bustling town with all kinds of facilities for residents, including Chinatown for Chinese origin residents, and a red light district. Well, you know. Towards 1880, when other mines in states such as Arizona and Utah were discovered, Bodie started losing its charm and its miners. However, some families decided to stay. As the years passed and profits declined, the last mine shut down in the early 1900s, after which Bodie became a ghost town. Its population as of 2020 was 11 people. The town was designated a National Historic Landmark in 1961. It also faced vandalism threats and the Kane family, who owned a lot of land here, ending up hiring caretakers for this place. Today, Bodie has been preserved in its state of ruin. Number 1. Bannack, Montana. highest recorded population, 10,000 people. With a population of more than 10,000 people, Bannack was a flourishing city with gold mines in the 1800s. Bannack had a school, a church, some bakeries, hotels and meat markets, a grocery store, and a restaurant. Allegedly, the sheriff of this place was a hideous man who led a gang, which was responsible for over 100 homicides in Bannack and Virginia City. But one will never know if this was true, as only 8 deaths were officially recorded. However, the sheriff, Henry Plummer, and his associates were hanged without an official trial by the Montana Vigilantes Committee. This story seems to come straight out of some Wild West-based video game, doesn't it? The town was abandoned in 1970s. This place is open to tourists, and tours are conducted every year around the time of Bannack Days. It's quite an interesting tour, where you will get to witness the day-to-day lives of workers, who in reality are actors enacting the lives of miners. You will also get to try their traditional breakfast at Hotel Mead. Have you visited any of these places? Which is the spookiest abandoned city you have visited in the United States? Do mention it in the comments section below.